Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Cowboys StoryLine. It's Wednesday, February the 19th. Trying to get used to this once a week business we've got here. But get a chance to talk to you guys finally. Let's see what you have to say. Well, not much has changed, really. Cowboys just kind of finalizing their coaching staff. Got a chance to talk to all of them yesterday, or at least the position coaches and coordinators. I don't say all of them. That would probably take a year. They have 30, 40 guys on the staff in some capacity. But for the main coaches, I guess you could say the position coaches, the coordinators, we got a chance to talk to them, maybe 15 or so. And those interviews will be able for you guys to watch throughout this week on the website. We've got the coordinators up today, offensive coaches going up later today, and then defense maybe tomorrow. So get a chance to kind of see what we saw and get first glimpse of them. And they all sound good. They all sound like they know football. That that they're going to come in and bring good, fresh ideas. You don't want to get caught up in all that because you hear it all the time. But there were some positive things that came from that for sure. And just this is that time of year where you're starting to get somewhat excited again about the new stuff. And this team needed some change. Maybe not a ton of change, but they definitely needed some. And then they've got some in Brian Schottenheimer and then a lot of the coaches that he's got. All right, 888-855-2297. It's the number to call. Let's see how many calls we can get in today. Let's get us started in Illinois. Davion in Illinois. What's up, man?
What's up, Nick? What it do?
How you doing?
In a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I've been working nights, so I couldn't get in. But I said I'll get in today.
All right.
I can't get away too long from y'all.
Sure.
Couple things. I was listening to talking yesterday, and I heard that Michael was talking about trying to be at OTAs, start at OTAs. I'm hoping that's true because it would be great to see one of our leaders being there starting off because I know OTA is going to start early because of the new coach. So it'd be good to see him start off with a bang and see how that goes.
Yeah, that would be nice. I know we didn't have that last year really with Zimmer, but that would be nice if he could do that.
Yeah, it is true. And then also other coordinators that talked yesterday because I pretty much watched all of them.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite one that you got a quote from, and which one I guess would kind of get you more excited to see what they're going to be able to do for us?
Well, I'll ask it back to you. I mean, Clayton Adams was pretty impressive to me. And I know Eberflus. I know him, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's what I expect from him, and he it'll be interesting to see what his defense looks like. But Clayton Adams, I really didn't know, and he was a hot commodity, not just by the Cowboys, but some other teams as it turns out. So I'm excited to hear what he said for sure, and it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of offensive line voices. You have an offensive line coach in Riley, but Adams is an offensive line coach as well, so you definitely have some attention to the offensive line, which is a good thing.
Yeah, Adams was my favorite. I really like what he said. I mean, especially when he's talking about violence, inflicting violence, and getting out there. Because I think this team is really need a toughness. I think it starts in the lines, both lines, but definitely that offensive line. Get to that toughness and bringing it out, and really getting after people for the run game and stuff like that. Lastly, before I get off, we're looking to try to probably come in the second week of August to Oxnard. So we're trying to finalize the dates. So we're really excited about trying to get up there and see y'all and be in person.
Yeah.
So
well, I'll say this about making plans for Oxnard. You got to be careful with everything. I would try to wait as long as you can and maybe till the schedule comes out because you just don't know what certain days are going to look like, what the games, what weekend is good. The end of, it's like you said, the second week of August, but I think we have 2 home games in the preseason this year. No, that I don't know if that's right. That maybe just one home game in the preseason. But what my point is that you got to be careful with the schedule. The schedule can do some weird things. They can put us in weird spots on Thursday night games, Saturday night games, which means your weekends could be weird. So just throw it out there. I'd hate for you guys to plan a trip, and the next thing you know, there's only one practice day in that span, or 2 days, or something like that. So. It's hard to get ahead of it, is what I'm trying to say. So,
yeah, I got you. But like I said, with the job I have, we got to try to fit.
You got to do it. You got to do it. We'll make it work, man. You guys will be great. It'll be a fun experience. Whenever. You said second week of August.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. And I want to get one of them books when I get up there. So
Got it. I'm bringing some books.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. I remember you telling the other guy that, so I'm definitely excited to get one. But other than that, man,
all right, man.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
I'm listening in for the rest.
Thanks, David. I appreciate that. Let's go.
And by the way, Nick, we do have 2 home games.
2 home games
next year. Yes, we had 2 on the road this year.
Which that makes me think or hope that maybe training camp's a little bit shorter than it was last year. I mean, it was 30 days last year. I mean, that's too long.
Remember 2 years ago, the Cowboys did the two home games, but they did come home and then go back to California for another week, if I remember correctly.
I think I would be all right with that. I'd be all right with
Come home for a couple of days and then go back?
Yeah. Yeah. You start staying, a full month. I mean, that's where you start getting fires and stuff like that in the complex and all that. I mean, just weird stuff happens. You can't be doing that. All right. Let's go to Anthony in Miami. Anthony.
Nick the Quig, how you doing, my guy?
I'm good. You're probably the only person that's going to call today that's not dealing with the same stuff with the weather. You're probably the only one, I would think.
Yeah. Yes, and I feel bad for the people that's really going through it. We just got a little rain. It might get a little colder starting tonight.
Well, you guys deal with the different kind of weather later in the summer, so it all evens out.
Yeah, you better believe it.
All right, man. Totally. What you got, Anthony?
Come on, Nick. You know me, man. I try positive. Keep it inspirational. But, man, there's one thing in my spirit, man. I was going to lay off. I laid off for a week. I had called 4 times in a row. I laid off for a week to give other people a chance because it's once a week. Then I listen to all the podcasts, as I do, support everything. And I look at comments under the podcast, and I try to put positive stuff. But there's so much negativity. And one thing that a lot of people, I think, are the ones who are saying this are wrong. They are wrong about this. We are not. We can't trade Micah Parsons. Please stop, people. Please stop. Let's stop with this. We're going to build this team. We got a new coaching staff. This young man is showing true leadership. He's trying. He is truly trying. When you get a young guy around 25 years old, Nick, undersized, trying to do what he's doing, and he's taking some of the negative criticism that he's done, but he's so impactful if the ones that just don't like him apparently will watch and see the impact he has for the rest of the guys on the defense.
Right.
I mean, 3 All-Pros and 4 Pro Bowls. Stop it, people. And then the man said, I don't have to be the highest. I'm not going to be Dak. I don't have to reset no market and all that. I need players in here, so I'm going to do that. I'm not saying Dak had to do that, but that's true leadership. So let's get this draft thing going. Do some free agency if you're going to do it. Get me 53 guys out there and let this young bull be a leader. And let's go. Let's get behind him. He's going to be a Cowboy for a long time, people. He's great. He's an anomaly. So accept it. That's all I got to say, Nick.
All right, man.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right, Anthony, I appreciate that. I'm curious to see or to know how many people share that with you, and not just on this show, but just in general, just Cowboy fans in general. I agree with you 100%, and I caution when I say this about leadership. Nobody really knows what leadership is. I'm not saying you don't know what it is, but you don't know what leadership is for each player, each team, what really goes on, who's being a leader, who isn't. Just because you're the quarterback doesn't mean you're the leader. And I'm not talking about Dak. Dak is a leader. I'm just saying in general, we've had it. I don't think Romo would be considered the best leader in the world. He'd probably say that. But sometimes, you have to be the leader by example, be the vocal leader, whatever it is. And, whether or not he's leading them in the workouts out here or doing whatever he's doing, but the way he goes about his business, the way he plays, the way he wrecks football games, I'd like more people to follow that. So if that's a leader, then that would be fine. Now, again, I don't know everything that goes on, and I've heard a lot. I've heard people say a lot. There's people that have to deal with them that would trade him. I know that. I know that for a fact. I've heard that. And I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Then I watch the game, and I watch a meaningless Washington game at the last game of the season where he's going out looking for stats. Well, that's okay. Get stats. Stats are good. Sacks are good. Sacks means you're getting off the field. You're making plays. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with a guy going out. I'm trying to get 3 or 4 sacks. Now, if you're not stopping the run, if you're going inside when you broke containment and there's a 9-yard run, okay, that's a problem. Stay within the game plan, but go out and make plays. Be a leader. I'm for that. I'm not trading Micah Parsons. He's a once in every 20 years type of player. I don't think you trade him. I think you build and get another Micah Parsons and you get another guy around him. That's what I would do. I draft another one and try to just have a party at the quarterback every third down. All right, Robbie in Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Nick and Anthony from Miami, you guys just preach it. I love what you both just said. Ang was awesome.
Yeah.
And I agree wholeheartedly. You don't get a generational talent with every draft pick. Why are you going to trade 2 draft picks for Parsons and not get a guy that's half as good as him?
Yeah. And we
all want that 99 ranked player in Madden,
yeah.
right?
You're just assuming 2 draft picks. I mean, you could
3, even 3. But what are the chances? How many times we talked about it?
You could have a star player.
First draft picks.
Yeah, you could have a star player and trade him for an old guy, and that's it. I mean, I've seen it. It happens.
Oh God, yeah. Let's hope not.
Luka.
Dude, I'm not talking about that.
It happens.
Hey, how's things going, man? How's the kids and family?
Well, we're bundled up, doing our thing here. It's
Beam said it's cold there. You need to bring him on. You need to bring Jake on the show again. Have his voice in here.
He did try to finagle his way out of school today because it was like 13 degrees and wind chill of 1. So he thought he needed to come to work with me today. But nah, you have to stay and learn. What do you got, Robbie?
Nothing, man. I just wonder what's going on in Cowboys world. I haven't heard any real news lately, and I'm hoping to hear something good from you. How about that?
All right. Well, this is what I would say for everybody for the rest of the week. You can start today and tomorrow if you haven't already. Is check out those videos we'll have on the site of our coaches. And it's all nice and good. No one's lost a game. Everybody's excited about being here, being with the Cowboys, being with Schottenheimer. They're saying all the right things. So if you can get anything from that, great. If not, that's okay. I mean, I interviewed the running backs coach, Derek Foster, today. He doesn't know who his running backs are going to be. He doesn't know who he's going to coach. I mean, he talked about Deuce Vaughn a little bit. He can relate to Deuce Vaughn. So Derek Foster can. He's a running back. He played running back. Not
a small guy?
Not going to be in the NBA. Yeah. None of our coaches are going to be in the NBA to be, they're not going to have a pickup basketball game. So, which is fine. With that, that's okay. That's not what it's about. But what my point is not only Derek Foster going to be coaching Deuce Vaughn, but he's coached Austin Eckler. He coached with the Saints last year with Alvin Kamara.
Eckler was really good in San Diego for a couple of years too.
Yes, exactly. So he understands the whole package there for these running backs, whether it be big guys, short guys, quick guys, whatever it is. So, if he can help with Deuce Vaughn, and not only that, but you've got I forget his first name, Riley, the offensive line coach for Kansas. He was at Kansas State. He's coached Cooper Beebe and obviously Deuce Vaughn. So those that could be another good situation there. So lot of good stuff. That's really the main thing, Robbie, that's coming from the the news cycle here. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
What's up with the All StoryLines team?
It's getting there. It's getting there. Yeah, I mean, we're all right. Well, here's what I'm working on. I'll thanks for the call, Robbie. I'll take this off the air. Keep the phone lines open. So we're getting close to kind of figuring out the team. I usually like to do that at the end of this, fiscal year, if you will, which will kind of take us through February, and then we roll over into March, and working on a sponsor for this, and working on a sponsor for the show. Not really just for the shirts, but sort of for the shirts, but also for the show. So we've got a couple of got some guys from upstairs in our marketing team, client services that are talking to me about, not that it's my decision, but they're just talking to me about different sponsors and what would be a good fit here for the show. And I'm hoping to, slap their logo on the side of a shirt here, so they can pay for it. That's really what it comes down to. But from the team standpoint, the team is pretty much set. I'm kind of working on putting the final touches of on all of that, and figuring out how I want to do it. But yeah, we're getting there. Robbie, and you've got a spot. I'll just say it. I'm not going to reveal the team. I think you've got a spot. All right, let's go to Shelby in Virginia. Shelby, what's up? It's been a while.
Nick, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's great to talk to you again.
Yeah.
Got a new job. I'm teaching, and so their schedule has just not allowed me to call in. But I realize now that y'all start at 10:30, I've got a little window here while they're in music. So I'm here talking to you. I'm just happy to be here.
All
but
right.
I don't know that we talked since the Commanders game of last season.
I don't know. I mean, I've been here. I've been here. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to call, but
okay.
You're talking about since you did like the super act of kindness and gave tickets away to another caller.
Oh, well, you don't have to put it like that, but it was just a ton of fun. And Mark from Philly and I, we'll text each other all the time, and so we're just buddies now. It's the funniest. I'll text him pictures of my kid and stuff, and he sent me an update from downtown Philly right before the parade, just showing all the porta potties and stuff. Yeah, so
okay.
that created a great storyline friendship.
That's awesome. Just quick, if anyone doesn't remember or didn't know about this thing, at the end of this last season, the 2023 season, last game of the year, Shelby had 2 tickets to the last game and put them here. Where we did a trivia question or something. We did a trivia question, and somebody called in or did from the text line. Got it right. You said it was Mark in Philly.
Yep, Mark in Philly.
And then he went to the game with y'all, and now
him
y'all
and
are friends. That's pretty awesome. I know Chris and I got a photo with you down there. You and your dad, right? So.
Yeah. Oh, and my dad says hello as well. I don't know if he'll be able to make it on soon either with work, but we were talking the other day about the show.
Blair, right?
Yes, Blair from Virginia. Great recall.
Nice.
So
what you got, Shelby?
It's less of it's kind of a question. I wrote an article for my blog a few years ago. I think it was 2021, called "The Quarterback Dilemma," and it basically broke down quarterback salaries against Super Bowl wins, and it found that the average salary of a quarterback that won the Super Bowl was like $11.5 million over the previous decade. And now Mahomes has kind of gone in and messed up my numbers a bit. But I guess my larger question is, why is there not a sense among quarterbacks, and this is kind of league-wide, that my career will be about 3 times what it is if I could just take maybe 15 less, right? I mean, that's a tackle, maybe a tackle and a half. And my life changes forever. My team's lives, all of them change forever. So I don't know. It was just something where I was watching Dak try to get his deal and kind of coming out saying, trying to be maybe a little noble by saying, like, I'm just trying to get other quarterbacks paid. And as a fan, I just watched that and thought, like, it just sounds like Elon Musk saying, like, hey, I just want to see Bezos get paid. It's like you've got a whole team of people under you that are contributing to your success. And, I mean, like a fifth of your contract could be 3 more contracts. I don't know. That's just always confused me, considering how good with advertisements and, sponsorships your life can be as a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I think I understand what you're saying. I understand the point. Why not, if you're trying to help other players, other quarterbacks in the league, why aren't you trying to help other players on your own team and y'all have more success and all that? Where it gets tricky is when you have agents that are agents of other top players in the league, other quarterbacks too. And, because all these deals are put up next to each other. So this guy got this. I'm better than him. If he got this, then I need to get this, and that's how it happens. And it keeps, it keeps raising the stakes for all the quarterbacks. And so that's kind of the game that's played. And there's only one Tom Brady. Tom Brady at the end of his career still winning Super Bowls, making $20 million, $25 million. It didn't matter to him anymore. He knew he was going to get a broadcasting deal to reset that market, or if you will. So I wish I had a better answer. I mean, that's just kind of, I hate to say like that's the way it is, but it is the way it is. And unless you're going to have a quarterback that just says, I don't care about the way the model is and the plan, I'm going to just do it my way and try to win right now. But that hasn't been the way this market has worked.
Yeah, that's sort of where the same thing I've found myself, same reason I've come to. I know with Mahomes, it's like 10 years, $500 million record breaking, but like y'all were talking about last week with the ability to mess with the accounting a little bit. That's a team-friendly deal. 10 years in the future, that's like wildly team-friendly, though the figure looks ridiculous. And Brady was always kind of taken mid to high market value, but like certainly less than a 5-time, 6-time, however many time champion as he went deserved. So I don't know. I see stuff like this where you've got your predecessor and your predecessors. I mean, Aikman in the '90s, they're both in the booth now. Mm-hmm. So I guess that kind of works against me because Romo didn't win a Super Bowl and got it. But I don't know. That's bothered me. But tough question to answer. It was great talking to you. I got to hop off and get to class, but it's always a treat.
All right, Shelby, appreciate it. Thank you for the call. I wish I had a better answer. I mean, I just don't. You wish more players would kind of see it that way, but then again, this is their time too. That second contract is their moment, their time to get what's there for them, and they've earned it. So it's kind of hard to say don't take that. Don't take the bag when it's staring them in the face. All right, let's go to John in Delaware. What's up, John?
Hey, how you doing, Nick?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I just have a few questions. I'm like the last couple callers. I'm tired of the crybabies who constantly got to whine and complain about what the Cowboys are doing. If you're not a fan, stay away and let us rebuild our team, get back the way we need to be, on top of the division, running the show, because I'm not comfortable being down here with the Giants. I'm really not.
No.
I do have a question for you, though.
Okay.
Is there any truth to Bones trying to take Aubrey to Tennessee?
Say that again. Bones trying to take who to Tennessee?
Aubrey. I heard a while back, I don't know if it was fake news or what, but I heard that Bones sponsors would possibly try to take Aubrey to Tennessee with him.
Got it. That would be tampering. He's under contract.
Exactly.
He's under contract. And he has another year. So no, you can't do that. Now, Anger, the punter, is a free agent. Sieg, the snapper, he's a free agent. And Turpin is a restricted free agent.
Okay.
C.J. Goodwin, I believe, is a free agent. So
yes.
I have a feeling somebody's going to be playing for the Titans this year, somebody that we know. That would not surprise me at all. But it won't be Aubrey this year unless there's a trade or anything like that. But I don't see that.
I hope it's not Turpin either.
I hope it's not Turpin either. But that one is interesting. He's gonna. You have to put a tender on him. You're gonna put a first round tender. They're not doing that. They could put a second round tender, which is about $5 million per year, or 1 year, 5 year, $5 million contract. And if someone signed him, then you get a second round pick. And I don't think Tennessee's going to do that because they have the number 1 pick in the second round. So it would be this 33rd overall pick. They're not doing that for Turpin.
I got you. I appreciate that. Do you think we have a chance of getting Ashton Jeanty?
I think there's a chance. I mean, I look at 2 screens here. One of them's NFL Network, and they have running draft. Everybody's got their own mock draft right now, and I see him going a little bit ahead of 12, though. We'll see what happens, when he goes to the combine and pro day and he runs and all that kind of stuff. But there's a shot. I mean, but I have a feeling that the top running back in the draft is probably not going to go to 12. I think running backs have made a comeback, and I just don't think a special running back like him will last at 12.
Yeah, because I saw that thing that Emmitt Smith was talking about, but then I found out that Emmitt Smith had been drinking a little bit.
Well, he was selling tequila, wasn't he? So maybe he was.
But when he said he doesn't think Cowboys could handle this, I think this is exactly what we need to shake up the division.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they've got to draft a running back. They have to draft a young running back. If it's a first round, then it would be Genty. If it's not him, then it would probably be a second or third rounder. But I think that you've got to get a quality running back, young, ready to come in here and play, and right now be a starter.
Yeah.
And so
I'm ready to make some noise because I know you being a writer for the Cowboys and a fan as well. We can't have another season like last year.
It was tough. I mean, it was a tough one because you've got good players. You're coming off 3 really good seasons. You expect to be at that level, and it just wasn't there. And then the depth wasn't there because every time they had injuries, they just couldn't withstand it. So I'm not.
I think we need to bring some class back to the Super Bowl because the Eagles definitely have no class.
All right. Well, they never have. So all right, John, appreciate that. Let's go to Dylan in Northport, Florida. Dylan, what's up, man?
Hey.
How you doing?
What's going on, Nick? All right. Nice and warm down here. How are you?
I'm good. Not nice and warm. Actually warm in here. It's all good. Well, how you doing?
Doing all right, man. I just got a couple of points here. Just the Micah stuff real quick, just for context for everybody who wants to trade them. The Rams, they offered 2 firsts and a second for Brian Burns in 2022 to the Panthers. I think Micah is obviously a better player, so we're probably looking at 3 firsts and maybe a second or a third at least. And you're probably going to get that if somebody wants to do it from a contender. That's not going to come from a rebuilding team.
No.
So it's going to come from a team where you're picking in the 20s. And so we want more Guytons, more Mozzie Smiths, or do we want, Micah Parsons? Those late first-round picks are it's like throwing a dart. It's very hit or miss. I'm not interested.
And throw Tyler Smith in there too. To be fair, I mean, like Tyler Smith in that, like he's a 2-time Pro Bowler and an All-Pro guard, and that was a good pick. And that was a pick that a lot of people criticized. A lot of people thought that was a terrible pick for a guy that has holding penalties at Tulsa, and he's not facing great competition, and, he was playing tackle. But it's another example of these big, strong guys that are playing tackle in college, but they're going to be guards. They're better at guard. And if you play them at guard, you have a chance to have an elite player. Larry Allen and Zach Martin could have played and sometimes did play tackle, but they weren't as good as guards. Leonard Davis, Robert Gallery, Mekhi Becton. You're just seeing it over and over again. And I think the kid from Texas, Kelvin Banks, is probably going to be in that boat as well. So, but I know I'm getting off track here. Your point is, don't trade Micah Parsons if you're going to get back in first round picks. And most of the time, it's just hit or miss. They've had success both ways doing that.
Yeah, if you told me I could get 3 Tyler Smith caliber players, I'd do it.
Yeah,
but you probably won't because it just doesn't work out that way.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and you know what you're trading. You are trading a really, really good football player, and
right,
and he makes. Think about this. Last 2 years, Dante Fowler on the other side. Dante Fowler, he kind of revived his career with the Cowboys. Got 5 sacks. Landed a deal in Washington and had an even better year. Carl Lawson. Now, it wasn't just because of Micah, but, Carl Lawson came in and he had a successful year, reviving his career. Imagine what a guy that's not in that boat, a guy that's ready to turn the corner. What can another guy be with a star player? And that's kind of what I would like to see the Cowboys do, is pair him up with someone else. And then
they got some guys in the draft here that are really nice edge defenders and interior guys too. The defensive tackle depth is extremely deep in this draft.
Yeah.
Some of the best positions. So
sure.
I think it's looking good for us to fix the middle of that defense and maybe the D line. my other point I wanted to talk about here was last week Rob called in, talked about the spending money and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to clarify kind of how the cap works. The CBA, it requires teams to spend 90% of the salary cap over 3 years. 2024, 25, 26, the cap's estimated to be like $795 million. They got to spend like cash money, $715 million. If they don't do that, they get fined. And the NFLPA then allocates that money, whatever they're missing, to the players as they see fit. So they can't just like hoard cash and not spend it. They've got to spend it. And I think a more realistic, if you have an issue with the front office and how they do things, I think the more realistic thing to say is maybe they just don't manage the cap as well as other teams. But a big part of that is the quarterback contract, like Shelby mentioned. I did the same research as he did back, I think it was last year. Since 2015, the average cap percentage was 8.5% for a Super Bowl quarterback. Dak is 24% with a restructure this season. Mm-hmm. He's 33% right now. So he'll still take up a quarter of the cap, and there hasn't been a quarterback that's gone to the Super Bowl with that high of a cap hit, at least in the data that I researched from 2015 and beyond. So Mahomes is getting there. But you also see where his offense is starting to suck too. So, and he can't do it all. I mean, he got to the Super Bowl, but that offense was terrible. There's a bunch of old geezers on there. So, it's just tough. They're in a tough spot, but I don't think it's fair to say they're not willing to spend the money. I just think if you want to question it, it's maybe how they spend the money. Like the Zeke deal wasn't great. They kind of got bullied into that. They paid for him years after he's gone. Michael Gallup, same thing. So that's my issue sometimes is maybe the deals they give out to the wrong players. Jalen Smith kind of got paid early. It was a friendlier deal, but it still hurt them in the long run. So just a thought I had, did a little research and just wanted to put it out there for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for the call and thanks for that research. Because Dylan, you're right. It's those second contracts, and when you look back the last 2 years, those I can count 5 or 6 restructures of those guys who has actually lived up to the contract extension. We're talking about. I remember being at camp. Malik Hooker got a new deal. Trayvon Diggs, Terrence Steele. You could probably throw Donovan Wilson in. That might have been from the year before. Dak, CD. I could be missing somebody, but those guys right there. Well, who's actually played to that level? You wouldn't say Dak, of course not. $60 million a year, and he got hurt, and they weren't playing well even before that. So certainly not that. Terrence Steele, no. Malik Hooker, no, not really. Trayvon Diggs, no, he got hurt too. I mean, so some of it's not their fault, but I'm just saying they're not living up to that. Now, CD had a great year last year. Played, he did everything you would want to kind of earn that kind of deal. Played hurt as long as he could. You played through a lot of pain and played well. So, but at 1 out of 6, that's kind of the problem. And so, and you guys talk, and there's a lot of people that say, you can get to $100 million or $75 million or whatever you can by extending some contracts. But I just mentioned all of them that you could do. Do you want to extend those? Do you want to extend the Terrence Steele deal, Trayvon Diggs, Malik Hooker? Do you want to do that? I mean, I don't think you do. So it's not as easy as you think to get to that number because that's part of the problem you've been in the first place. So, anyways, let's go to break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back after this.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's ALTECLANSING.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, Cowboy Nation. Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, is now exclusively in the Dallas Cowboys app. You can join the official fan club today to receive access to all the new Cowboys drops, feature team news, and pre-sale access, and fan and kid of the game. Download the app now to join. All right, back here on Storyline, the phone number is 888-855-2297. You can text the show. Give something else that Chris can look at here. 817-290-3298. Don't have a lot of text credit. It's hard enough to get all these phone calls in. So, but yeah, if you have a great text, go ahead and do that. Let's go to Tony. He's in Alexandria, Virginia, but he just moved to Dallas. So
I did. Nick, am I on?
You are on. What's up, Tony?
Yeah, so formerly of Alexandria, Virginia, I told you last time that we were moving to the Metroplex, and I had you and Chris kind of see if you could guess what suburb I was in that beginning with an F, and neither of you got it. So have you had time to think of what suburb I'm in now?
It starts with an F?
Correct.
It's not Frisco?
No.
Is it Fate, Texas?
No, nope.
Where is it? Sorry.
So it's Fairview.
Fairview. Okay, because people in Alexandria, Virginia, that you left behind, they don't really care. They're just like, he lives in Dallas. He lives in Dallas. That's where they say.
I know.
All right.
And still
Fairview.
trying to get used to this. One day it's 80, the next day it's 30.
Yeah. You know,
like insane.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cowboy fans, really. You know, Cowboy fans is like the weather here. You know, it's trade Micah one day. It's like, I think this team could go to the Super Bowl. It's, you know, it's up and down. It's a roller coaster life here in Dallas. All right.
Yeah, it is, as far as the weather. So really, I think I caught the tail end of what you're saying before you went to break, and I think you're talking about contracts and maybe certain players living up to their contract after they sign a second one. Am I on the right path about that?
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I mean, in my opinion, going back, like you said, the only one I can think of is CeeDee Lamb. I mean, going back to like the Marcus Lawrence and some of those, they just like they'll be in one game where they get like a couple good stats and everything, stopping the run or what have you, and then they disappear for like 4 games. It's just like, okay, like where are these players after we sign them to these big, huge contracts? And it's just not a good look for us to sign players like that, and then they're not giving us the bang for the buck after we sign them to that second contract. And my question to you is, so in this coming draft, if you had to go offense, and you might have been asked this before, but I can't remember, if you had to choose between wide receiver and running back, which one would you go? I'm still saying wide receiver because, like I've said on other past calls I've done, is I don't think our wide receiver core has been the same since Amari Cooper left. And granted, I get why they let him go and all that stuff. I just don't, to this day, feel they accurately replaced him with the talent that Amari Cooper had. So, and if that was the case, then our receiver core might have been a little bit better than what it's been the last several years. So, anyways, with that, I'll hang up and love the show. It is getting hard to call on, but I'll keep trying, buddy.
All right, thanks, Tony. Appreciate that, Tony from Fairview, Texas. The tricky part about the Amari Cooper trade and CD is, I remember it was told to me that people in the building feel like CD will blossom without Amari here. Like that he's ready to take that next level. And from a money standpoint, they feel like they've got a better Amari Cooper here with CD. Let's spend that money elsewhere, which is what they did. They they did that. They got 3 or 4 players with that money. One of them was Dorrance Armstrong. The first time they re-signed him, and that was a pretty good pick up there. And some other players. Another one was James Washington, the receiver that didn't work out. Obviously he got hurt and stuff, but. So that was a money move there, but you're right about they really haven't had that 1-2 punch. Now Brandon Cooks was supposed to be that guy, and I think at the end of last season he was playing that way. I think with Cooks and CD that was pretty dynamic there, but it didn't happen this year. And Jalen Tolbert's tough to figure out. I mean he has some moments where. He has some nice plays. I mean, he led the team in touchdown catches. I still think most people would look at him and say, as a third. Everyone's fine with him being the 3. They want another number 2. To answer your question about receiver versus running back, I think I would just looking at this draft. I don't know if there's the receiver there at 12 that I would take. I don't think so. I would take a back, but just it's just one. You just got one option there. I'm just not as sold on going to get a receiver right now. I understand the importance of a second one, but I think maybe free agency or maybe a little later in the draft. But that gets kind of tough too. I think with Tolbert going in his 4th year, I think he's got to be your number 2. I mean, I just think that has to happen here from a Caps standpoint. All right, let's go to Sheriff Lonnie. He's in Kansas.
Hello.
What's up?
How are you?
How are you doing?
Oh, just freezing, but other than that, okay.
Okay, yeah, same. I know you're a retired sheriff, but I like to just call you the sheriff. And just feel like you're still, kind of patrolling the area there on your watch.
Well, I kind of do. That's kind of what I do.
I mean, are you ever really a retired sheriff? You're always the sheriff, right?
Yeah. No, I haven't. I still keep up with everything going on. My son's a sheriff's deputy in the next county over.
Oh, nice.
And so he's always calling me, and we still talk about law enforcement stuff plus the Cowboys, and we argue every day about Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
and I say you got to keep him.
Can I tell a story? One time I was driving and I got pulled over because I was going too close to the car in front of me. I don't agree with that. Whatever. I got pulled over. Guy's telling me why. He looks at my license. He's a huge Cowboy fan. We start talking, and I'm kind of in a hurry, obviously, because I was driving fast. We start talking for 10 minutes, and I got out of the ticket. But, before I know it, he's there on the right side, because of the car. He's not going to get hit by other cars, traffic. And he's asking about Zeke and if Zeke's going to sign a contract and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, maybe. So, anyways, it's cool. When I think about you being a Cowboy fan, I think about that really nice officer who did pull me over, but he let me go after 10 minutes of talking Cowboys. It was cool.
That's cool.
It happens.
Yeah, I think I tell my son you got to keep him. You don't. I mean, if you try to take draft picks, you're just guessing on whether they're going to be good or not.
Yeah. True.
Period. I mean, you know what you got in Micah Parsons, and I think a lot of the callers are the same way. You just have to keep him. My other thing is the thing I'm asking is franchise tag. Do you think they'll tag anybody at all this year?
I don't.
And
no, I don't think so at all.
Well,
Osa would be. I mean, $24 million for Osa. I mean, 1-year deal. I can't see that one.
No. That's what I was just curious on. What your thought was. Mine. I'm on the fence.
Yeah,
I don't know, but you got to think about a little bit about what you're paying them.
Yeah,
and what they're going to get. So,
well, all right, Sheriff. Thanks for the call, Lonnie. I'll say this though. This kind of goes back to the last 2 callers, Dylan and Tony. You talk about Osa. And do you re-sign him? And you look at the success that they've had and or haven't had with these players on this next contract, and knowing what it's going to be, it's tough. I mean, and I always go back to the Dorrance Armstrong thing. What if they would have re-signed Dorrance Armstrong last year for $15 million a year, and he got 5 sacks, 6 sacks? I mean, he had a pretty good season in Washington, but it wasn't, earth-shattering. But for $15 million a year, I mean, I think it would be viewed as a disappointment, So, and I like Osa a lot. I just don't see a ton of games where he's just changing the game. And for that kind of money, I mean, you just expect an Aaron Donald type situation, and it wouldn't be. Not that I know of. But I'll say this: talking to Matt Eberflus yesterday, and he was a little uncomfortable talking about a lot of players and stuff, because there's still a lot of questions to be answered there and decisions, and those aren't really his decisions. But he's going to be asked, "What do you think of these guys, this guy?" And it was very clear he loves the play of Osa Odigizua. Like he's a big fan. So if it works for him to come back and whatever, it's going to be one of the reasons is going to be because Matt Eberflus says we got to have this guy. This guy, he really, really likes him a lot. So, and I understand that most coaches would, but at that price, it's tough. It's like, kids love the toys. They love all the toys, but for the money and how much it is, they don't even think about that kind of stuff. And not that Matt Eberflus doesn't know that. He's been head coach. He understands the business side of it. But so he loves the player, but at that price, it's gonna be a challenge for him. All right, let's go to Armando. He's in Mexico City.
Hey Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. A little bummed out still because of the Super Bowl, but hanging on.
Yeah.
I hope it has a silver lining that makes Jerry and the front office to change their ways a little bit. So maybe. Here's hoping.
We'll see. What kind of ways are you hoping they change? Be specific.
Well,
free agency?
Yeah, a little bit more outside free agency,
Yeah.
But,
I think they will. I think they'll sign more players from the outside than they have in the past. I believe that. I've said it several times. I think that you have to sign a lot. You have 25 free agents. You're going to have to sign some, and I think they're going to pick more from the outside teams than their own. That's what I believe. But that doesn't mean they're going to be super aggressive and have press conference type, signings where they hold the jersey up and all that. I'm not saying that we'll see a lot of that, but I'm hoping for one. Give me one splash move. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. So anyway, Nick, they have just announced a few days ago that the Steelers are going to play in Ireland next year. So I was wondering, what's your opinion on international games? Because I've seen a lot of fans that are not really very pleased with that, especially games in Europe and Brazil and now maybe Australia next year because of the long flights and the time change, and not so much of Mexico and Canada games. But, of course, I'm biased since I'm here.
Sure.
But what's your opinion on that? A lot of people don't like it because they say they take away a game from their own team locally. I mean, after all, the Super Bowl champion is crowned the world champion. So
yeah,
I was just wondering about that.
Yeah, I know that they've made some rule changes. Thanks for the call, Armando. They've made some changes to that over the years. I think since the last time the Cowboys played, of the rules on you have to give up one of your home games to. And that's always been the case. You give up a home game to go play over there, but they've asked teams to give up games, their own home games, so they could go play. And the Cowboys never wanted to do that. And to be honest, a lot of teams don't want to give up their Cowboy game because it's going to be their best game of the season as far as selling it out. I know Carolina was in that situation a couple of times, and even though they know that it'll be a lot of Cowboy fans that buy those tickets, but so some of these teams don't want to give up the Dallas game. That's why maybe it's been 11 years now since the Cowboys have played overseas. They went to London, of course, 2014 against Jacksonville. But my thoughts, personally, I mean, yeah, I'm for it. I'd like to see it. I'm kind of surprised they haven't played in Mexico, since they've been playing a lot of games over there. But I think there is an option. I think I don't know if they've announced the Mexico games. I think there is a chance the Cowboys, I guess, could play one of the games in London this year. The Jets is on the schedule. The Jets have one of the games, so and maybe that's a situation that would make sense. I mean, that area, the Cowboys are already there once a season with the Giants, so maybe that would make sense. Who knows? If they do it, I'm all for it, and I think that there'll be a lot of good crowds there if the Cowboys, wherever they go, if they go overseas. All right, let's go to Brian in Kansas City.
Hey, good morning, sir.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Glad to be able to talk to you today.
Sure. What's up? What's on your mind?
Well, so a couple things. So I will make the argument for trading Micah, because nobody else has, right?
Okay.
So my argument is, and I've been saying it for 2 years, he's too small for the position he's playing. He has never played at that very top level through an entire year. In the years before last, he couldn't get to the quarterback at the end of the season. He could get pressure, but he couldn't get sacks. And then last year, obviously, he missed quite a bit of the season. I've been saying it since he came in and they tried to make a defensive end out of him. He's just too small for that position. He's not going to stand the test of time.
Okay.
That would be my argument for getting rid of him. Now, I understand how hard it is to find a guy who can get you 12 to 14 sacks consistently every year.
Mm-hmm.
But when the chips are down, it's not helped us. So that's my argument for that. And I would want, that there was a story out. I don't know who wrote the story, but they said that they entertained the idea for a king's ransom. It would have to be that. It'd have to be two ones and a two, something absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But that would be my argument for that. My questions for you this week I have two questions for you.
Okay.
So based on the new coaching staff and what I've been reading, it sounds to me like they value in offensive linemen, they value athleticism more than just brute strength. Based on that, could this maybe help Guyton and Steele? Because that's the kind of guys they are. They're not maulers, but they're very athletic.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that might help them. So, and then my other question is, this is my guess, but I wanted your opinion. I agree. I don't think they're going to sign Osa. Of our guys, who do you think they will? And my hope is that it'll be J-Lou. I hope that's the guy we get. I'll hang up and listen, brother. Good to talk to you.
All right, good to talk to you too, Brian. Thank you for the call. I think Jordan Lewis, there's a reason why he continues to get that 1-year deal. Maybe it'll be more this year. Maybe someone else, will pay for him. You gotta remember this. You've got some coaches now in the league that are. You got a head coach in Washington. You got a head coach in New Orleans now. In Kellen Moore, that were a part of this group, this unit here from the last 3 seasons. So they know these guys and they know Jordan Lewis, and they know Rico Dowdle, and they know Osa, and just like we saw with Washington before. So I think that there's going to be, and you've got Tennessee, you've got a coordinator there, and John Fossil when it comes to special teams players, and he knows the roster there as well. And so my point is that what was it 2-3 years ago, that 2021 team or 2022. You've got all of the coordinators that were there, Kellen Moore and obviously John Fossil and Dan Quinn. All of them are now with other teams and in positions to make some decisions. So I could see it being tough to re-sign some of these guys. I think Jordan Lewis is the one that would make the most sense. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's been a lot of perception on him that maybe he's too small or to play that position, but he keeps doing it every year. And now there's other guys that know him, know what he is in the locker room, that maybe try to sign him as well. All right, let's go to Irwin in Colorado.
Hey, Nick. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. I called in yesterday. I was able to get into talking Cowboys, and, I got heckled a little bit because I told them I was a storyliner, but it was all in fun. But they had been talking about
who was doing the heckling.
Kyle kind of gave me a little harassment, and it was all funny. I just told him that I'm a regular with you and stuff. It was pretty fun.
Okay.
But anyway, they were talking about Micah Parsons and a few other things, and they had mentioned the possible contract extension and when that was going to happen, and if they were able to do it soon enough, that maybe they might be able to do some things in free agency. And then when I spoke with them, I told them, if we've learned anything from Jerry Jones, is he likes to delay these contracts, and history has proven that. And if he or the Cowboys wait till like training camp or further to get that contract done, we've seen this all before. There's not going to be, any time at that point to really go after somebody big time to help them on the other side.
Well, Erwin, I mean, let me just say this though. I mean, I think with everything, you have to be fair. I think the Cowboys. We just got done talking about how the Cowboys have not had great success with these second contracts. They're paying guys, and then they're not performing to the standard of the new contract. And you're saying that you think Jerry and Steven and them wait too long. Well, why do you think they're waiting long? I mean, why don't? I mean, do you think that they are just signing signing them to the deal, that they could have gotten 6 months ago? I mean, like.
No, I don't think that's the case. I just think that when you have a proven player in Micah's caliber, I think they should, really do everything they possibly can to get something done with this guy. I mean, look what they did with CD last year. They waited to the very last moment. They did the same thing with Dak Prescott. I'm just thinking, when you have a player of like Micah's caliber, why wait so late in the process?
Here's why. I'll answer that. Here's why. Dak got a $60 million contract. $60 million. It was right before the start of the season. Well, he could have signed him. He could have signed him in August at $65 million. Could have signed CD as well. CD could have been there the entire camp. Instead of 34, it's going to be 37. I mean, they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to pay for that, and that's what these agents know. So, with my point with Micah, he says he's going to, they're going to get a good deal and a fair deal and all that. But what's the number at now? If you sign him right now, while the Cowboys have a little bit more leverage. So that's the problem. I don't think the Cowboys are just waiting to get around to it. I think they're trying to get that price down to a more comfortable level. So
yeah, I mean that's smart. Obviously, I mean that is the way to do it. But the other thing I wanted to ask you was, I pushed back on Isaiah a little bit yesterday because he made a comment about the Cowboys over the last few years have learned from other teams' success. And, he referenced the Philadelphia Eagles, the 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs, and I just kind of pushed back on him. I said, they may have learned, well, I'm not really sure they have, because they really haven't acted on what what he was saying, that they had learned from how they've been so successful, because, we just haven't seen that the last, 29 years to get to the point where I think he was kind of talking about, getting to the, a championship game or the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, and what is your point again on that? That they should learn from other teams?
Well, they may have learned, but they certainly haven't acted on it.
Yeah.
I don't think they, so, I mean, anybody can learn something, but are they going to apply what they've learned?
Yeah.
And I don't really think that they have. So, wanted to get your thoughts on it.
No, I hear you. When it comes, thanks for the call. And I said it last week. When it comes to the Eagles specifically, the Eagles are drafting better right now. That's what it is. They've drafted better. I know a lot of the talk is on free agency, and that's true. But they have also done a really, really good job drafting and so in all ways. I mean, their team, their roster is, it's not just the Saquon Barkley addition or AJ Brown. I mean, it's is it Bond or Zach Bond? I mean, the linebacker that they just thought could be a good middle linebacker, and then they've drafted well with those defensive backs that play well. So the Cowboys have had some good draft picks, late first round. We said Tyler Smith and Deron Bland obviously was a great pick and all that, but there hasn't been a ton of those lately. And you start looking at the last couple of years, you look at those second rounders, those third rounders, and they've been okay players, but they haven't been the difference makers. And that's where I think the Cowboys have definitely taken a step back. So, everybody's going to try to draft well. I just think the last few years the drafts have gone off, and when that is your bread and butter, when that is what you're doing, and you're relying on that only, then and not free agency, then you're going to be in trouble. I mean, there's no other way around it. If your only way to work is your car and your car is starting to break down, then you're going to be in trouble. So that's kind of what's happening here. Let's go to break here one more time on Cowboys Storyline. I'll be right back after this.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
There is no I in Dallas. There is no I in Hart either. No I in Blue Star or in Lone Star for that matter. And there's no I in how about them Cowboys? Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks, home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because there's definitely no I in Cowboys fans. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
To Cowboys Storyline.
Coming to AT&T Stadium on August 27th and August 28th is The Weeknd. He's bringing the After Hours Till Dawn Stadium Tour. Get your tickets today at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium. It's The Weeknd. All right, let's go back to the calls here on Cowboys Storyline, 888-855-2297. That's the number. You guys know it. You guys been calling it. It's two lines are filled right now. So let's go to Chris. He's in San Angelo. Chris.
Mr. Nick, good to finally talk to you.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, doing real well. Hope you're doing good too, my friend.
Sure.
Okay. Hey, I was gonna ask something about the OSA thing, but that would just be repetitive. So I chose a different topic.
Well, would you sign him? I mean, I'll just throw it back to you. Would you sign him?
Okay. 20 north of 20 is a little rich for me.
Let's just say 5-100. Just simple math.
Okay. Well, 5-100. Maybe not. I mean, like you said, I don't see him becoming Aaron Donald anytime soon.
I don't.
But if he can come in for a cool maybe 15, then we'll talk.
Yeah.
However realistic that is.
Yeah.
But anyway, where else I was going to go? First of all, I have to say I saw a series going on that you apparently had a pretty big hand in, and this part of it was involving Dave Campo. Okay. And now I can't remember the name of it, but you were definitely involved in it. And anyway, I just had to share one time back in the day, me and a bunch of guys used to always head to St. Edwards for the training camp. Really hot place, by the way. And I actually I was standing at this ramp probably where I wasn't supposed to be, and but nobody told me to move. I actually saw Coach Campo walking down. He was the DC, I think, and he.
What time of night?
No. This was at training camp.
All right. Yeah.
And so I saw him, and I said, "Hey, Coach," I said, "Where do you think where's the Super Bowl going to be?" He goes, "Oh, it's going to be in Arizona." And I said, "Well, we'll see you there." And then he said, "Well, we're going to give it a try." And he shook my hand. Ever since then, I've loved Dave Campo. So I just wanted to.
Even through all the 2002 and 2001 seasons and all that wasn't his fault. But
it was not his fault. He got a raw deal. He was a coordinator, obviously.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to share that because I watched that and that was good stuff.
Yeah.
Where I'm moving on to now, I'm trying to get a concrete timetable. Do you know as far as the timetable for Overshone and Diggs next year, kind of where that is looking at?
Yeah.
Where that's at? I've heard different things, so I'm just trying to fix it.
Well, okay. Thank you for the call, Chris. Hey, anything else?
No, that's it, buddy.
All right, have a good one. Good talking to you as always. The thing about why you're hearing different things is because different people have different injuries. Nobody has the same injury. No, not one player has the same. Well, this is exactly like what this guy had. Now, the trainers will tell you, they go off of history and they can say, all right, with this player we had this, and I think with Overshone, I'm getting my players mixed up. I know Connor Williams. I think Connor Williams actually had the same injury as Trayvon Diggs, and it was able to come back and relatively early. Now I don't know if Diggs will be in the same level there. Overshone. That's one that it's hard to say. It's hard to bet against him. He thinks he'll be back to start training camp. I would think PUP makes sense for both of them, and what that means is they will be put on that list at the first day of training camp, and that allows them to go at least 4 weeks into the season on PUP, and they don't have to make a decision to bring them off the roster. They won't count on the 53, but you have to do that the first day of training camp. Now, you do that the first day of training camp, and after the first week, they're ready to go. Then they come off of it. They have to be put on the 90-man roster, which is fine. You have 90 guys. You can make a spot for him, and no problem at all. But you have to make that decision at the start of camp. And I would be surprised. I'd be shocked if Diggs and Overshone are not on that list. We'll see how far that goes, into the season. If they're able to come back before that, a lot of that's going to depend on them. And I think with Diggs and with Overshone, I would love for them to work out together because I think with Overshone, I think he'll help anybody get to where they want to go quicker because that's just how he's driven for sure. All right, let's go to Chuck D's in Bridge City, Texas.
Nick, what's up, man?
How are you?
I'm good.
All right, what's up?
Took me a little bit to get on with you. It's been a while. It's just, you know how it goes this time of year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this once-a-week stuff. It's hard. Everybody's trying to get in here. All right.
Yeah.
What you got, Chuck?
Here's what I got. In light of seeing, Kellen Moore and Quinn be scooped up, who in the past have you seen go and you're once he got his job, you're like, wow, we really had him, and he slipped away. Of course, it'd probably be Tom Payton, but I was going to say somebody like seeing Scott Linehan when he left. That hurt because, man, he sure did help that offensive line.
Yeah. I can't remember where Scott Linehan went. Are you talking about Bill Callahan?
I'm sorry, Bill Callahan.
Bill Callahan.
Yeah,
Yeah. I remember Linehan doing a lot where you're like, what? No, Callahan. Yeah. Running game Moses is Broadus, and I used to call him because he could. I mean, they were wherever he went, they ran the ball. But yeah. I mean, it happened, Sean, and even Sean Payton. Like, you had Bill Parcells. I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, it was time for him to get a head coaching job, but you're not gonna like let Parcells go. You know, I mean, that's just kind of that's part of it. I mean, on that staff, that 2005 a staff that Parcells had, I think he had 7 coaches that became a head coach at some point. You know, from Tony Sperano to Todd Haley to Anthony Lynn. So I'm just saying Sean Payton was on there, and there's others too. I can't remember all of them, but I mean my point is that he had a really good staff, and so that this you can make the same case with Quinn. I mean, you know, yes, they could have let McCarthy go after 3 straight 12-5 seasons and keep Quinn. That would have been interesting, but you know, look at it now, you're like, yeah, that's probably what they should have done. But in hindsight, I don't know if that's good business. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I know circumstances didn't work out, but just as a fan, you're like, dang, we had that guy in the building, and now look at him.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Even Dan Campbell, right? Didn't Dan Campbell coach here at some point?
He didn't coach with the Cowboys. He didn't coach with the Cowboys. He could have, but yeah. But you know, you can make that case, and we'll see with Kellen if the Saints turn it around. You know, Sean Payton style, like Sean Payton, then you're going to look back and go, yeah, you know, especially because he was interviewed the same as Schottenheimer. But this is the route the Cowboys have gone, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay, Nick.
All right, Chuck. Good stuff.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, let's keep it going here and staying in Texas for a third straight call. We got Rockwall, Texas. Michael's in Rockwall. Michael.
Hey, Nick. How you doing this morning?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to call and just couple of quick points because I think the big talking heads on the big networks and have gotten to some of our fans, and they just don't seem to remember that there was conversations about signing Dak early, and Dak's agent changed, and they didn't want to do a deal right away, and there was a want to wait on their side on the first contract side of thing, and on the second side, you know, to your point, Dak was trying to reset the market, not by $1 million or $2 million, but he ended up signing a contract for $5 million more than the next average salary per year of the next closest quarterback. And he didn't want to give them the extra year to play with, a 5th year, even though they were giving him an extra $5 million a year. So in hindsight, with what happened last year, you could make the argument that Jerry didn't wait long enough, and he should have let this play out into free agency, because I'm not sure anyone else would have paid Dak $60 million, especially if he had gotten hurt last year and came off the injury. CD, same thing. CD wanted to wait until after this wide receiver market got set and the big dog got paid in Minnesota, and so he could set his own market. He wasn't going to sign any earlier than that. So I just wanted people to remember that part. And then finally, for Micah, I'm with a caller that talked earlier today. I love Micah Parsons. I think he does a great job at his size, 235, 238 pounds, rushing, mostly using speed and quickness to get around these guys that weigh 100 pounds more than him in most cases. But it does wear on you throughout the year. He's a liability in the run game. He cannot, if you run right at him, you just bulldoze him out of the way. He's not effective in the run. He's undersized for the position. I'm not sure paying somebody that's a linebacker playing out of position $35+ million a year is the right investment for a team that's already paying what they're paying. So, and the reason why is no team in NFL history has ever had 3 players over $30 million on their roster. I just think you need to find a way to have depth.
Right. Well, I don't love I don't love that stat. I think for a percentage of the cap, and you might be right there. A percentage of the cap, that should be a better stat. They've never had 3 players over 30. Well, of course not. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, Deion Sanders set the market at $5 million a year at corner back in '95. But percentage of the cap, I'd like to see that stat. And then that probably still makes perfect sense. 25% of the cap, then 3 guys or whatever it would be. But what is the cap right now? I don't even remember the number.
I think it's going to be 275, I think, is the projection for this year.
I was thinking of 280. So, something like that. So, 275. So, that would be, let's say it's 270, 90 million. 90 million, that's, you've got, that's what, 120 million when you got 60 for Dak and then a couple of 30s, 35 is really more like 70. So, 160 million out of 270? Whew. That's I mean, I know the structure is different, but at some point you got to pay the piper, and that's so I hear what you're saying. You make great points. I mean, you make absolutely great points on that of why they wouldn't. I just look at it like I got a great player. I got to figure it out. You have to build around your top players, and they have to figure out how to play them the right way. We got to get moving, though, Michael. Thank you for the call. Good points, good stuff there. Let's go to Carolina. He's on the move. He's in Dallas. Carolina, what's up?
What's going on, Nick?
There we go. I might have heard that. Right here. You're in Dallas. What's up? Be careful on those roads.
Yeah, man, it's super, super cold and it's a little icy, so I'm taking it easy.
All right, man. What you got? We're kind of up against it here. It's last caller. What do you got, man?
All right, man. I just wanted to say, man, I'm excited about the new running back coach.
Yep.
And he was talking about, him being an actual running back. So I'm just fingers crossed, man, that we can get something out of Deuce Vaughn. I know everybody's like, oh, we need a new running back. Well, of course we do need another running back. I mean, we don't really have nobody proven.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping that, something good comes out of this because we talking about people, being a wasted contract. I mean, he only got, a year or 2 left?
Yeah.
And we ain't seen nothing out of him. So I'm just, I got my fingers crossed. Good luck for him. And last thing, can we talk about people who've already been announced for a possible trade?
Like who?
A guy that plays with the Boombox Boys.
Oh. Debo?
Is that? Yeah. Are we able to talk about
him?
He's already been set out that he can possibly trade to anybody.
Just because he's asked for a trade, I've seen that part.
They've given him permission.
They have? Okay.
Yeah, they've given him permission.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, if that happens, I think you could talk about it. I mean, is that a type of player you think would help this team?
And that's what I was going to ask you because I've had a few people tell me, "Hey, man, y'all would be great," and I'm seeing it on a couple of other shows or whatever.
Sure.
I'm just up in the air with it because I'm like, he's getting kind of old, but I don't know. I don't know if that's something that we can. I mean, he's a number 2. If we can get him at a good price, do you think it would be worth it?
What I like about his game and the way San Francisco used him with McCaffrey is I thought the versatility that here's a wide receiver that can play running back, and you have McCaffrey, a running back who can play receiver. You can mix and match a lot of things of what they're doing, and that kind of versatility, I think, if used the right way, can be really, really beneficial to your team when you can have guys and line them up in different spots. They do that with CD.
Thinking.
Yeah. So, and they do it with CD. I don't love the fact that CD runs the ball as much as he does.
I don't either. I don't.
Yeah, but again, it's tough because the 49ers are probably going to say, all right, we've used him to what we've used him at, and we feel like he's probably not going to be at that level anymore. And then somebody's going to take the bait. The last time the 49ers traded a player to the Cowboys, it didn't work out so well. So I don't know. I mean, it's intriguing, but it also makes me think he's probably on the downward slope of his career, and depending on what you could get for him if you want to go that route.
See, my thing is he didn't get a lot of touches last year. So it's like, is it because they didn't utilize him, or is he actually going down? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
That's where I'm in my mind. I'm like, well, maybe.
I played fantasy football, and he was on my
Right.
team, and he was on my bench a lot of times because he was either hurt or just inconsistent. And
that's another thing to worry about.
Yeah.
Is health. That's definitely a key factor.
For sure. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. All right, Carolina, we got to get rolling. Thanks. Thank you for the call. All you guys, outstanding work. 15 calls. Again, I wish we did it more than once a week, but this is the way it is. And you guys did a great job of calling in and giving some good points on both sides of the spectrum here on this Micah situation. So good stuff for sure. We'll be back next week. Not sure on stay tuned to the schedule there. We might have to make a schedule change on Wednesday. I'll be at the Combine in Indianapolis. We'll see if we can maybe switch up the day. So we'll stay tuned for that. All right, for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you next week on Cowboy Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!